Indiana faces Kansas. So Kansas is obviously the number two team in the country at 9-1. Indiana's not having a bad season, 7-2. Obviously, that loss to Auburn last time was not enjoyable for IU fans to watch. I was watching it with my in-laws, and they were not having a good time. You know, a little bit in the first half they had a good time, but once it kind of got away, that wasn't really great to watch. But this one is at IU in Assembly Hall. There's gonna be a lot of crazy fans there. Hunter Dickinson makes his return to the Big Ten, so that's going to be really, really big. I don't know if he said anything on his podcast this week, but you know, knowing him, he's probably got something to say about it. So if he hasn't said anything yet, there probably will be something at some point. But Burke, what are your thoughts going into this one with IU versus Kansas?
My thoughts in this one are we need a win on the resume. Like, this is the only opportunity for the Hoosiers to get a tournament resume cementer right here. Like, with this win, you can take your beatings in the Big Ten and still come out with a bid. But it's going to be a ruckus scene. Like, it's going to be wild. The Assembly Hall, like, I think Ken Penn said it was going to be a 2-possession game in Kansas's favor. But that being said, I think this is as far as depth goes, I think this is the most like gettable Kansas team that we've seen in a while. In that Missouri game, they're just coming off of, I think 4 of their starters were tasked with at least 35 minutes each. I mean, they're absolutely some of the best starters in the country, but yeah, just a Missouri game in Fog Allen, you wouldn't think you'd have to have them work that hard. And it's just, as far as Hunter Dickinson coming back into the Assembly Hall, like he will be reviled throughout. It's going to be a rough 40 minutes for that man. And, I just want to say this is the time to get them. If we are going to get Kansas, it is now, because Bill Self, the chance he took on Arterio Morris, that immediately bit him in the ass, like that depth spot. If it was used on anybody other than him, if he just had the time to go get that guy, I think this Kansas team would be way better off. But once you get through that initial 5, you have Nick Timberlake coming off the bench, who has been a letdown of a transfer. But see, the problem with that is where Bill Self will ride his starters all day, Mike Woodson will not, to like the extent that he should. So it's just a tale of 2 different coaching philosophies, and Kansas has more often than not been the winning one. It's going to take a Herculean effort by our guys, but I have faith that Indiana can come out with the victory here. I have to.
Well, and I think Kel'el Ware has been, exactly what you needed him to be this season on the inside. He still doesn't show that fire that maybe you'd like to see, but I mean, he's getting it done. He's leading the team in a lot of statistics, doing really well, exactly what you want from a big man. And Malik Renew down there as well is a really nice compliment to his game. I think a lot of this comes down to the backcourt for IU. Is Gabe Cupps able to make things happen? I don't think Xavier Johnson's coming back for this one, right, Burke?
No,
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like it.
Yeah, so can Gabe Cupps play up and be more than just kind of a high energy defender? Can Trey Galloway be who this team needs him to be? I mean, he's been kind of a disappointment this season. I don't want to say he's been bad, but he's just not been who this team needs him to be in the backcourt. And really, at the end of the day, this Kansas team runs basically everything through Hunter Dickinson. He leads this team in points. He leads them in rebounds. He leads them in 3-point shooting. I mean, he kind of is their do everything guy. And if Kel'el Ware can play good defense and play good offense against him, and I'm not going to say shut him down, but at least play well against him so he's not unleashed, I think IU has a good chance of winning this one. It'll really come down to the backcourt to see how they play. Anthony, what are some of your thoughts?
Yeah, so I think Dickinson versus Ware is such an intriguing matchup. They're both really capable big guys on the interior, but they can also stretch it out when they need to. There's just a lot of versatility that both of them bring. I think both teams are going to play through them. Kansas, obviously, the big guys have been their bread and butter for, as long as Bill Self's been there. He's had a big that he can rely on. So, he knew that was a spot he needed to fill on the team this year, and he did that. I agree with you on the depth of Kansas, though. This is one of their shallower teams that they've had. When you bring in the guys off the bench that they do, You have Furphy, who's a freshman, super streaky. You have, Timberlake's not been anything to write home about. They have some really, really good playmakers in obviously Dickinson. And then, McCullough is one of the best two-way players in the country. Defensively, game changer. Offensively, he's, dribble drive, can knock it down from deep. He's so versatile. Those two, if you can contain them even somewhat, like Marquette did, right? Indiana's got a good chance. It's going to be Assembly Hall is going to be buzzing. It's going to be crazy in there. Anytime a high tier blue blood comes in, there's weird things can happen in Assembly Hall, even if it's not their best day. That said, Indiana has to make shots. They are woeful at shooting from deep. And this is me as a Michigan State fan saying that. Like, Michigan State is also woeful from deep. So if Indiana is not making shots, it's going to be hard to climb out from behind a lead. But I think they'll give Kansas a really, really tough run. In the end, I think that Kansas just has a little bit more athleticism. I think even though they're a shallower rotation, they play that rotation really, really well. So Indiana has to capitalize when the starters are not on the floor. But in general, I think Kansas is going to keep their guys in as long as they can, and I think they sneak away with one from Assembly Hall.
Yeah, I think the 3-point percentage is a really good indicator there. IU only shoots, it looks like 13 3-pointers, if I'm rounding up, 13 3-pointers a game, and they're only making like 25% of those. I think 27% is the exact number. So when you're shooting that few and you're only making that few, that's definitely a weak spot for them. Trey Galloway,
we don't like this new flashy basketball, man. We don't like it.
Get back to the old days.
Get back to the old days when we were hanging banners and having fun in Bloomington. Damn it.
Yeah, no, I think that would be a big thing for you guys. Just erase the 3-point line and Assembly Hall.
Oh, dude. Oh, yeah. Indiana immediately. Oh, their stock goes through the roof in that case, man.
That'd be huge. So, yeah, I think unfortunately I have to pick Kansas in this one as well, even though I do like the matchup of Kalel Ware and Hunter Dickinson. Unfortunately, Gabe Cupps is just going to have to show us something that he hasn't shown us yet offensively in order to make this happen. And that's really, really difficult for a true freshman to make happen against Kansas. It is at home, so we'll see what he can do. But yeah, that's who I'm going to go.
I am intrigued by seeing Hunter Dickinson back in an arena that truly knows him, like that knows his history. Because I was listening to some Kansas podcasts just to get a little taste of what they're thinking about this game. And they were just like, yeah, I'm sure he's going to go in there and it's going to be so much animosity thrown his way, and unrightfully so, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, man, everything about Hunter Dickinson, everything he will receive is warranted. That might be the single largest truth I know in sport. Whatever is going Hunter Dickinson's way in this game is warranted.
I think that's the funny part of this transfer portal in a lot of ways, is we see a lot of teams like get new players and they like talk themselves into like, oh, they're this so awesome. But like for us, Ohio State last year, it happened with Isaac Likely. I remember talking to like, oh, this guy's a really good defender, kind of a do-it-all guy. Maybe he can't score too well, but that's okay. And of all fans, I had an Oklahoma State fan, comment on one of my things on Twitter, and he was like, no, dude, things are not going to go well. The guy's really bad. He's not going to play well. He's not going to score you any, like he only gets points in garbage time against bad teams. Like, it's not going to go well. And lo and behold, he was right, because I was likely couldn't do anything offensively, and it was frustrating all season long. So we'll see what happens here. I do think it's funny on my CBB analytics. I'd show you if I could, but for IU, it's like the paint in the area around the hoop, it's like very red, and the rest of it is just like very blue.
Oh, yeah.
For Kansas, it's like everything's just like a little red, and then under the hoop, it's like very red. And so, yeah, it's a sharp contrast. And then when you get to the 3-point line, it's like ice cold blue. So we'll see if IU can change any of that. So thanks for listening. Listen to the Big Ten Huddle. Please do like and subscribe. We appreciate that. If this was your first time listening, we are the Big Ten Huddle. We cover all things Big Ten football and basketball. We have a long episode every Sunday, Tuesday, and Wednesday night, all at 9 o'clock. So come in, check us out, get in the chat, let us know what you're thinking. We would love to have you join us and learn more about the Big Ten.